Hi, everyone. My name is James Davis. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about teacherly ethos and three models that I found in compiling my annotated bibliography. And if you're wondering why I have Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon on the cover, it's just the quickest, easiest concept I could think of for this idea of refracting. So, my thoughts were ethos is this sort of concentrated beam of light, and that the scholarship on teacherly ethos is a prism that refracts into all the different teacher personae that um, people put on in order to establish their credibility, their ethos as a teacher. So, three models that I found particularly useful are Marshall Gregory's friendship model, which we read for this class, but is very fundamental to this research topic. Tana Sheaver's hospitality model does cite Gregory, but its focus is more on the teacher as a host or hostess. Finally, Jason Tam's model is mainly looking at technological ethos in conjunction with teacher ethos. I have labeled it the cruise director models for reasons we will cover shortly. But I wanted to start with Gregory's teacher um, friendship model. So I chose to call it teacher as befriender rather than teacher as friend because Gregory does really put emphasis on that verb, befriending, and he weights it over friendliness, this static character trait of just being friendly with your students. He derives his model of befriending from Aristotle's idea of friendship that it's wishing for your friends what you believe to be good, not for your sake, but for theirs. So it is radically sort of unself-centered, selflessness. He says it's not touchy feely, and he says that the friendship he's advocating for is critical, so not just like it's all good. So critical, but also imaginative, which I found that a really interesting pairing together. Um, for each of these, I've come up with agreements and questions rather than pros and cons. Um, and for agreements, I found unpretentiousness to be something that really resonated with me as being really important to any good teaching persona. I really like his emphasis on action speaking louder than words, that friendship is about the work that you put into it. Same with teaching. And I really appreciate that he links imagination and empathy and says that really good teachers are so imaginative because they can really put themselves in their students' shoes. So I that's one of the main things I got from Gregory's article. He has, as far as questions go, he has a lot of disdain for coolness, almost to the point where it's a chip on his shoulder. And I'm just wondering if coolness can be assimilated into this persona at all. And I'm also wondering if this idea of empathy can be cool. I think it can, and I'm just wondering if that's maybe a blind spot of the article. So for the last model, I chose Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. For this model, teacher as host, I chose Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus as someone who invites the students to sort of um, partake in this kind of space that they own, but it's there for everyone's benefit. Oh, it's covering her face. There we go. So Tana Sheaver's article says the success of a party depends on the hostess, and the whole article is basically positing the teacher as the host of basically a dinner party. They mentioned transformative hospitality of both guest and host kind of being transformed by the experience. And the rules in a party are for the shared ease and enjoyment of the whole party, not for the hosts, sort of quirks or pet peeves. I agree with a lot about this model. I love the figuration of authority is could you please smoke outside? That it's just for the sake of everyone that you don't break this kind of rule. It's not for because I just don't like smoking. Um, I like that it gives the teacher implied ownership of the course, and it's really relatable. I've hosted a party. I can do this. Um, my questions are: this is kind of a quaint, almost simplistic figuration. How do we combat that? How can we complicate it? And how might this persona be enlarged to think about hosting and hospitality as a commercial enterprise, not just a private one? Finally, Jason Tam's technological ethos and teacherly ethos article. Um, he posits that the ethos of an online class partly, if not mainly, comes from the technology. And he implies that ethos in this is also kind of partly owned in first year writing classes by the structure that contains it or owns it. So for us, that would be FYW. There's a lot I agree with in this model. I think that smooth functioning tech does convey credibility that can bleed over into the teacher's credibility. I think that ethos and teacher credibility have to be blended in a course like this. And I agree that these courses are a team effort. I'm wondering why I am having trouble sort of defining a persona. I said cruise director, like the course is a cruise, but I don't know if that makes any sense. Um, I'm also wondering what is ethos besides authority, credibility. So where I landed is somewhere between Mr. Feeney and Mrs. Frizzle. I think I'm slightly more Feeney than Frizzle, but a blend of those two. So yeah, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed.